It's my special pleasure to introduce you our today's guest, Lina Zacher. Hi, Lina.
Hi.
Uh, Let me just introduce you. Lina Zacher is a German filmmaker and visual artist. The focus of her work is in dealing with different cultures and the confrontation of socio-political subjects with a participatory approach. She's interested in human behaviors in spatial and social context and tried to work on her themes through a practical approach. Her installation media works and participatory works with children, right? Have been exhibited in several exhibitions in the Philippines, in the Madagascar as well. For her first full-length documentary, Fonja, she spent 5 months in the youth prison Antanimora, right, in Madagascar. Okay, so first of all, dear Lina, thank you for such a beautiful and emotional piece of art, your film. I'm very glad that you are here today, so we can discuss your film.
Thank you.
Okay, in your art praxis, you are also an art lecturer, which obviously gave you an idea of making a film in participation with students, particularly youngest prisoners in nowadays Madagascar.
Yeah.
How did you get an idea to do the workshop inside a prison in such a specific country? That's my first question.
Okay, maybe those are already 2 or 3 questions I try to answer. First of all, Madagascar. I already traveled a long time to a long time ago. I traveled the first time to Madagascar and kind of fell in love with the country also, and always came back. And eventually, I got to this place, to the prison, and got to know the minors, the detainees. Actually, for another small project that time, I think 2013, I did like small theater project with them, and only when I started to study in university, I started to study arts, I decided to go back to that place which left me with so many impressions, and it was so I really had the feeling I want to go back and make a film about it. And and maybe to add to that, what was the reason why did I want to go back? It was actually this what I felt was there the first time when I was in this place with the miners was very strong feeling of a lot of energy, a lot of drive, a lot of creativity coming from those teenagers actually to create something. And and I wanted to capture that, so that's the reason why I came back. And then it was kind of logic to me that the only way I could best represent this place and this atmosphere and everything that is about it would be to hand the camera over to the subjects, to the ones who actually live there, who are confronted with their everyday life there. So, I mean, I came there and I felt that this was a special place, but I wanted the ones who actually live there to show, to convey what it is, how to be there. And so this became my concept to actually, in the end, become a passive part of the film. No, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, it was really nice development. That in the end, I was not really needed anymore because, yeah, the ones making the film, the minors really took over. They directed, like maybe it was obvious in the film that they really, yeah, they really knew what they want, right? Yeah, this was a good feeling, yeah, to hand it over to them, yeah.
What about the permissions? Was it hard to get inside the prison with the movie camera?
It was easy in the first place because to facilitate a workshop inside this prison, yeah, it's appreciated by everybody. I mean, I don't know, it's good for them. I mean, everybody profits if they have an activity, if they learn something new. Of course, it's kind of special to bring cameras to a prison, but the authorities, like the head of the prison, they actually appreciated that I was there. But in the end, getting the permission to actually use the footage to make a film which gets publicly screened and shown was more difficult, I would say, but still worked out in the end. Yes.
Cool. For sure, in this prison there is, I guess, lots of young boys, and so why? My question is, why did you choose those particular 10 young boys as protagonists, and actually as your colleagues as filmmakers?
Yeah.
How did you choose those particular 10?
They kind of chose themselves to be part of the project. I didn't select like, you will take part, you will not take part, or something like that. I just offered to teach them filmmaking, and first there were a lot of boys who wanted to take part and who actually took part, but during the process, over the course of the project, it became obvious who really wanted to get involved, who really wanted to become active. And in the end, it was those 9, 10, or 11. I mean, it's always those 10 who are mentioned everywhere, but of course, I mean, in different times, there were more or less. But yeah, it really became visible that there is this team who really wants to make a film, and the other ones had more passive roles. So it was actually not me selecting, but they decided, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to add what I didn't say already. Don't hesitate to ask during the discussion, but we definitely will have space for your questions at the end of the discussion. So neváhajte sa prihlásiť a opýtať sa niečo Liny. It's very emotional when we see so young boys, kids actually, as very vulnerable persons. Many of them are orphans and had kind of hard childhood.
Yes.
Yeah, their existential situation determined them so much. Then they commit a crime. Who actually came with an idea of asking all those boys about their tough stories, because that's very dominant in the film, those particular stories.
Yeah.
Who came with that idea?
The minors, the boys themselves decided that they wanted to interview each other. And they did. And I think it was very important also for them to get interviewed, also to have that camera to capture, to record. For them, it became very important. I mean, like maybe for the first time, they were heard. They told their stories. Somebody listened to them, and at the same time, everything gets recorded by a machine, by a camera. I mean, it puts importance to them, or it gives them a feeling of being heard. I think this was the reason why they really wanted to do those interviews also. And yeah, that I don't know. I mean, I could add a lot to those interviews. I think it was, for example, very interesting that there is that very how to say, it always crosses the line between the boys feeling guilty about what they did. Like you would, I think, see in their faces now and then that they actually reflect and that they understand that what they did is not very good. But at the same time, there's also this pride, or they want to they actually ask each other like what methods they use, how to break into a house. I mean, they actually teach each other about how to become a better criminal. So there is this ambivalence, right? You know, like at the one hand they do feel guilty, and they know that they shouldn't have done, but at the other hand they also want to show off, like maybe this is also the process of growing up, right? Because they're teenagers. They're really in between being a child and being an adult. I don't know if I answered your question.
I mean, you spent 5 months in the prison,
Yeah.
very intensively. Maybe you already kind of answer it, but how it was for you to confront really on daily basis most of the day you spend in prison with them, how it was for you to confront on daily basis for 5 months with all these stories. I mean, what kind of feelings and thoughts were bringing to you this everyday life in the prison with them?
My personal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very. I mean, this was also the reason why I wanted to make a film and why I came back, because I thought this place was is very impressive and inspirational. But of course, it took time for me to kind of see, to understand the whole structure. I mean, inside the prison, I would say it is a small microcosm. It is a small world. I mean, they have their own rules. They have their hierarchy. There is the ones who take decisions. There is the ones who follow the rules. It is really, and it is working, right? I mean, they have created their own structure. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's like a small world, and of course, it took time for me to, to integrate and to find my place inside this whole, this whole small microcosm. But in the end, or not in the end, but after a little bit of time, I really became a full member of their community, which felt really, really good. I mean, they accepted me, they actually welcomed me and treated me like anybody else. Because in the beginning, it was kind of tough to come to a prison as a girl or woman, white, because of course a lot of them haven't seen, most of all white persons, but then even girls for a long, long time, and it was just kind of strange, right? They would propose to me like 100 times, and it was it took some time until they really understood I'm not there to marry them or but I'm just there for the project. I'm really interested in them. I just want to be around. I want to be part, but I will not be anybody's wife. But eventually they understood, and we have a really good relationship. Like, it was very, and this was also what I thought was very important, and what I really want to focus on, that me and the minors meet at eye level, but not me being the instructor or me being the director or me being. I really found it very important that we would meet at the same level, so we could always talk about everything. And actually in the end, maybe to answer your question how my experience was, it was strange because I mean I was in this prison for a long time, voluntarily, like nobody, I haven't done anything bad. I'm not a criminal anyway. I spent a long time there, and for a lot of people, especially the guards and also the boys themselves, they were always asking me, oh, come on, what are you doing here? Why are you even spending time with us? I mean, you're free, you can do whatever, you can go outside. But it was hard for them to understand. But me, I just felt it just felt really good to be around them. I don't know. I think maybe it's also about that desire to really immerse myself into one place or one specific environment with everything that is around it or is about it. Like, I kind of had the feeling I really want to experience the place fully. So so I spent there a lot of time. And in the end, I think I was the only one who was sad to leave the prison, right? I mean, anybody who gets released is very happy, but me, I didn't want to go home to Germany. Everybody was like, come on, you're going to Europe. I mean, because this is the big dream of everybody, in not only in the prison, but in Madagascar, to go to Europe and have a different life. And me, I come from Europe going to the prison to spend a lot of time with them. So, difficult for them to understand, but was still this inner desire. I don't know. Cannot explain.
I'm your film is focusing on prisoners, but not as criminals in a first plan. That's why I like it very much and appreciate it very much. You're focusing on those people as a human beings. When did you decide to go this way, to do not accent that they are criminals?
This was already the first idea to show them in a human way, and I think this is also the potential of the film, that it doesn't follow the cliches, the conventional way how you would maybe show, how you would document a prison, but it goes a different way, because it shows the prison from the perspective of the prisoners itself, and I think this is a big chance to actually see something like this in an unconventional, in a new way. Yeah. Did I answer your question? I don't.
If you have any question, don't hesitate to
Yeah,
ask.
you can always add or ask.
You have time to prepare some. Let's talk a little bit about the method you use.
Yeah.
This kind of participative method, which you are familiar with by your praxis as an artist, as a art lecturer, right? So why did you choose this method, and maybe what do you like about this method? Because I mean, the effect is very good. It's very functional in a way. But what do you like about the method?
Maybe first of all, like I said before, for me it really made sense to hand over the camera to the subject to best reflect, to best show how it actually is to be inside a prison, because I mean I'm an outsider and I will stay an outsider. I can spend as many months as I want in the prison, but I'm not a real prisoner. But so this was logic for me. And the other reason, or maybe the other thoughts I had about this, was also about the authenticity, about how to best show this place, or this to reflect this theme, because it becomes very natural. I mean, it developed organically, like the film kind of crafted itself. It evolved itself because the miners took over. But I think it's a very good way to to not make it something, to not make it a miracle. What about the camera? Like I told them about, or I taught them about filmmaking. The camera also became familiar to them. They learned to use this medium. It was not me, the filmmaker, who is only in control of this this magic machine that nobody understands, only me. Like it. I unveiled. I put it on the table, the whole what is about the camera. I just explained it to them, how it works, how you can use it, how you can capture, what you can do with it, you know. So I think this was also a good way to also let them be natural with the camera and around the camera, because it just became a daily tool for them. I mean, this was already daily activity for them. I came to the prison in the morning, they would ask, where's the camera? I gave it to them, and this was already their daily schedule, you know. Like when I told them that I would leave, they were like, but how? I mean, every day we use the camera. This is already our, it already belongs to them, you know. Like they already adapted this ritual to use the camera over the day, and it, yeah, it belonged to them. So yeah, I think they developed this very close relationship to the camera, and this was also helpful to be natural in front of the camera and behind the camera. And like I said before, the concept overall is to capture this inner perspective, this personal perspective of the minors. So yeah. So it made sense for me. I think this is my thoughts behind it. But yeah, and I also really like the thought about a film crafting itself, because as a filmmaker, I'm always thinking about methods, how to enter a different environment. How do I approach my subjects in the best way? Because a camera can be intimidating. It can be kind of scary. People can get shy or uncomfortable, or because it is something that disturbs or can disturb a moment. It is something coming from the outside and changing things, right? So for me, it was, I think it was again logic to honor or to make the camera visible, not to hide it or not to lie about how the film was made or how this whole thing came to be, but to be open about it, like to to just involve the camera as a natural thing inside the daily life. Yeah.
It's also kind of meta film, the film about the film, as we
Yeah.
already talked today. Question from
Oh,
the
yeah.
audience.
I wanted to ask if you were always nearby when they were shooting. For example, during the interviews, were you in the room, or it was
Yeah.
they were on?
During the interviews, usually I was just next to them, but you cannot really see me because I was usually holding the audio recorder or something like that. But the footage from outside the yard, everything, I was not always with them the whole time. Like I said, it just gave them, or after this introduction and this lecture about filmmaking, like this workshop, I actually gave them the freedom to use the camera in a very free way. So they just took the camera and, I don't know, went around, filmed, and I was not always around. Yeah, they would usually call me when the battery is low or something. They would use me as somebody providing them with the material. Yeah, but it was a good feeling to actually give the direction to them. Yeah. And it also gave me the possibility to immerse myself deeper into their world or their community, because actually I didn't really have anything to do. No, I'm not. I had things to do, but just saying, yeah, over time they became more and more independent with the camera. Yeah.
Thank you. And another question.
Can I ask, you were communicating there? Did you use someone as a translator or you use language?
I speak Malagasy. Yeah, this was also very important. I think if I didn't know the language, it would be hard to connect to them. But still, yeah. Actually, in the prison, they speak some kind of ghetto slang. I had to get used to it. But yeah, this is the way we communicated. But for the film, in the end, in the editing phase, I had people who helped me with translation, because I really wanted to get it right and yeah, not make mistakes. So I did a lot of the translation by myself, but I also had friends who helped me. Yeah.
Translation to Slovak.
Yeah, I didn't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, Fonja is your first film, is your debut, your feature film. What did you learn as a beginner filmmaker during filmmaking process, from development to post-production phase?
Yeah, good question. I think I really, first of all, I learned a lot. I really had the feeling making a film, being present and active, because of course it's my film, so I had to organize and go through all of the phases. It's like studying something. like it's a whole study. It's really, but it was good. I learned a lot. I learned so much. And
the teacher.
It was. I don't know, because I think it was very good. My first film, I was very naive, very adventurous. I just thought, I'm just gonna do it, and I just did, which was good. But of course, after having made a film, you feel like, wow, I'm afraid I'm not that naive anymore, because I know that it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of work. You don't just do it like that, but you put a lot of energy. But it was very good being that naive, being that free, and being not that much experienced in a way. Also that I didn't really follow any conventional rules or whatever, because I just really don't know about those rules. I have never studied film. I just wanted to make one, and so maybe the biggest thing I take from this film or from this experience is this empowerment to listen to myself and just do what I want to do. I hope it will still work with the second film, but that was really good experience. That I just did. I followed kind of my instinct and did this project, and in the end it got rewarded. People actually see that it was worth it like that. So this, of course, gives you strength and builds you up in a way that you think, oh, okay. Yeah.
It's actually so unique that you won the main competition with your very first feature documentary, and so young and without sort of professional background. Opus Bonum, which is the name of the main competition, is very unique because of one and only member of the jury. Which is every year different famous filmmaker. Last year it was one of most influential nowadays Romanian directors, Cristi Piu. I just want to quote what he said about Fonja. It's very nice. For the warmth, the intuition, the trust, the courage and the generosity that are holding together a film that keeps on reaffirming the power of the innocent gaze while echoing the voices of the old masters. It must be very kind of strong and beautiful to hear such poetic words from Cristi Piu. How do you feel about it, and how do you remember meetings with him?
Yeah, actually the festival itself was a really great experience, especially the award night. I really didn't expect anything to happen, and then it was so funny because they called me up to go on stage to take the special mention, which was given to me as a director only, and then the main prize, the whole collective of the film won. So with all the minors, and I was really so so surprised because really I didn't know that you can even win two, like in the same competition. I mean, in the same category. And I just came up to Cristi Piu and asked him, "Is this even legal?" Because I really didn't think that this is really true. But
It's question on Jura. Is it?
Yeah.
Precedence.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it was nice meeting him, and it was a big honor. I mean, it always feels very good when you make a film, and of course you have this idea behind it. You want to convey, you want to transport something, and that something obviously got transported. Like people see what I wanted to tell, what I wanted to show in the film. So this is a very good feeling. Also very empowering that somebody, or Cristi Piu, understands the film. Yeah, it's very, it was nice. Very crazy, crazy experience. I don't know. Also, I remember the second time I came on stage, because the first time they asked me if I want to say something, then I thanked all of the directors. I thanked the boys, and I don't even remember what I said on stage. But the second time they again asked me if I want to say something, and I was just like, I don't know. This is too much for me. I don't even understand this. Yeah, but it was great. Yeah, I really didn't expect at all. Not at all, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, I started to study production design in an arts and design school, university in Germany, in Eastern Germany. And then I switched to art pedagogy, it's called. It's actually like studying fine arts with a part where you learn how to lecture or to, I don't know, facilitate workshops like that. And yeah, this is actually my background. But our art studies were really, like I said, very free, like we just invent or design our own projects, and professor just lets you do whatever you want to do. So this was, good thing. I mean, without that, maybe I wouldn't have the freedom to even go to Madagascar, be away for so many months, just work on my own stuff. This was very good. And maybe in some way I feel it's both. It's advantage and disadvantage at the same time not to have studied film, I think. And actually now I really want to study it. Maybe I get into a master program, I'll see. But like I said, this naivety is a very, very great thing, actually. And and in the end, I think all disciplines of art still share that same idea. I mean, it's about the way you approach things. It's about the way you realize and you transport your ideas. And I think my professor at that time, she's a sculptor, but in a way she could still help me with the whole thing, because I think it's more about that that maybe you share as an artist, or I don't know, but at least that's my idea.
I agree with that. Yeah. Tereska?
Ask if the boys have seen the final film and what do they think of it?
They have seen the film. Because actually those 5 months I spent in the prison, it was two parts. The first part was I was there for 3 months, and I taught filmmaking, and shortly after that they became very independent, like I said. And then the second time I came back after I think 5 months or something, and I also taught them editing, which was also very interesting. But at the same time, they kept shooting themselves because this was their activity. They always wanted to hold the camera, but they also learned about editing, which was, I think, also a good way for them to also understand this last phase, this post-production, and also to be involved, because I would always show them whatever I have edited, and they would also contribute, or they would share what they have done, and we would mix or combine. And what did I actually want to say? What was your question?
The question was if they seen the final.
So they have seen the scenes, and they have also seen the whole film, and they like it anyway, because they like to see themselves on screen. This is really, they love it. But of course, there is also my language in the editing, right? I mean, I took a lot of decisions. It is a very conscious decision, not just okay, but
It's also your film.
Yeah, it's also my film, of course. But I just remember that somebody told me that it is visible that this film has this kind of language, and it doesn't come from anywhere, but maybe I also brought it there, like also the way I taught them, the way I facilitated the workshop, and the way I explained how to use the camera, or what are the different ways to use the camera, also affected them, I think, I would say all of the prisoners, all of the boys kind of have their individual way of filming, but of course I have my influence in this, how I transport, yeah, of course, yeah.
I would like to ask in this kind of dialogical masterclass. I think it's good to ask you about what inspiring you. I mean, art or documentaries. What do you like?
What
As
I like?
as a kind of interdisciplinary artist, not
Yes.
just filmmaker.
What inspired me specifically for that film is a work made by also how to say, like a social community artist, or I don't remember the term that she used, but she also works with this participatory approach. It's a film about refugees, Syrian refugees in Jordan, living in a refugees' home, and also actually children or girls filming their own environment, which I thought was very inspiring also. And but even more than that, I think it's I always like, when something is presented in an unconventional way and gives a new view to a known topic. Like I would say, like I said before, prisons in general get reflected, get shown in a specific way, which I wanted to maybe break, just to get to know the place and everything that is around it in a very, in a different way. And then I always think that it's more touching is a very strange word, how to say. It goes deeper when you don't put your finger on a subject like this, and those UNICEF films or something where everybody's always crying just to show that they're vulnerable and that everything is bad. I don't want to use those primitive methods. This is too easy to I don't like. I don't know. I want to go a different way. And for me, those long shots, those aesthetic shots, those very small moments reflect much more than this tear on your face. Like this is too much cliche for me. I don't want to use this cinematic language. This is nothing that is interesting for me as a filmmaker. Yeah.
Totally agree with you. Any questions? Eva? Mm-hmm.
Other festival, I think in Ji.hlava, I even asked the organizers if it's possible to bring them also in a different festival, but it is indeed kind of difficult because not only the visa process, but they are inside the prison, right? So only to get them out of the prison to even start the visa process would be difficult. But actually there should have been a film screening in Madagascar in April, but it was cancelled because of the pandemic. But I was there in January, February, and I brought them. I took with me all the certificates from Ji.hlava and also another festival where it won, and I handed it over to them. And also I collected some money for them, money from screening fees and stuff like that. So I tried to share this success in some way, right? But maybe there's more to come, right? I would really love to. It would be great if even only one of them could make it here and have the experience to present their film. As a filmmaker, because that's what they are, right? We will see.
Thank you, Lina. Lina Zacher. Thank you all for your participation, actually. And
thank you.